What is this?
Recording your voice.
Huh?
Recording your voice.
Yeah, just in case we miss anything.
You're
we can
like,
go
what's
back
going
to
on?
this.
No recording?
Uh-huh.
Alright. You ready?
I'm ready whenever you are. Which one of you is going to go
Yeah,
first?
just have to, you have to speak out clear because I can't hear very good.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to go first?
Alright. Alright. Do you want to ask that?
Sure. What does your name mean?
Say that again, please.
What does your name mean?
Gideon James?
Yeah, what's it mean?
Like, does it have any, like, other meaning? Like on how did he get it, or how did your parents come about naming you Gideon?
I have a problem hearing.
Oh. So when you were, so your name is Gideon, and, do you know if there's a specific reason why your parents named you Gideon?
A long time ago, my parents told me that there was a somewhat doctor in Fort Yukon area, and she came up with the name Gideon James Gideon Albert. My middle name is Albert.
Gideon. So Gideon, where were you born?
I was born in Fort Yukon.
Fort Yukon. Mm-hmm. And were you raised there too, or?
No. In the earlier, over on the next drain is just, Shinjuk River.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that over in Community Hall. I don't know if you were there or not.
Oh yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
So you were raised on the Junjik?
And then my parents, my mom, they came from here. And my dad came from across Yukon River and Birch Creek.
Mm-hmm. So, what was it like growing up in like the Arctic and like Alaska, upper Alaska region?
Well, it's somewhat like seasonal, you know? Like a seasonal harvest. Like in June now, in July, and sometimes early July, they would go up on the mountain and get ground squirrel. That's, it's about a couple of days or so. And then these caribou, those bull caribou there, they don't migrate until sometimes in August, Most of the time, they feed. They have a feeding area. They go there in the winter time, and all they do is feeding. And then sometimes you have one or two in higher altitude, like get away from the mosquitoes and stuff like that. They go on a glacier. They go on the glaciers to get away from the mosquitoes. Sometimes you come across like up to 10 on a glacier. Bull caribou does that. But the younger one, they go to cabin ground.
So, over the years of living here, or since you've been here, have you noticed many changes in the Arctic and upper Alaska?
In late 40, we have everything was normal, like you can actually see glacier from here, from down that way and over here and up here. Up around the bend, there's another glacier up there. But since the weather changed, it melts quick. It melts. Even right now, you don't see any glacier. You know, it's hard to explain that kind of question because it happens. It happens gradually.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you have cold weather in wintertime. That's when it build up. That's when glacier build up.
Yeah.
But if you have mild winter, then you don't got that much glacier. You know, it's gone quick.
Mhm.
So there again, you know, it affects the animal that use the glacier for, you know. So your question is really to answer the really long and difficult. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
kind of hard to understand.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
But like I said, in the winter time when it's cold, that's when the glaciers build up.
Mm-hmm.
When we get much younger, we used to skate on that glacier. We'd go up there, right up there, and
Ice skating? Or?
yeah, like skating on when the water come out and it freezes, it's just like glass.
Hmm.
So we go skating.
I've gone ice skating a couple
Yeah.
times. It's fun.
But there's no longer like that no more.
Mm.
The glaciers don't even build up.
Sorry to hear that. So obviously changes or more dramatic changes are going to be coming to the Arctic with the threat of the oil drilling and climate change.
Well, you know, there's two different issues about climate change and caribou, because I really think that these caribou, they tend to know where's the safe place for them. They tend to, like I said, to the glacier to get away from mosquitoes. They go to higher altitude where the wind help them to get away from the mosquitoes. And then only female and younger animal travels to the calving ground. Very few bull caribou go there. So climate change is something that like I said out there, that it involves our responsibility, each one of us, in our household, in our family, and our friends.
Mm-hmm.
That's our responsibility. You can't just sit there and listen to it and forget it. You don't do that. You may have to make a commitment to do what I just said. You just don't listen and forget about it. You make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said before, my generation is in 60s. You know, in 1960 or 61, I was a young man. 62, I was a young man. My generation stopped Vietnam War because too many people coming back, you know, in coffin. Too many of them. And they would demonstrate. They don't want government to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this generation is so weak-minded. You guys don't have the energy or guts to go against, you know, the industry that's causing the weather change. That's what I mean. It's up to you guys to do something about it. It's not me, because my generation have done this work by stopping Vietnam War and stuff like that. I think, you know, thinking back, and they tell us, they call us the dirty people, but we stopped it. You know, we stopped it. We seen. I was pretty close of going to Woodstock. The only reason that it stopped me is that I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford $90 that I need to share. I need to my share of gas expense. I don't have it. So, like I said, you know, if you're concerned, just do something about it.
Yes,
sir.
That's what I got to tell you, to take the message and make sure that you organize a group in your community or in the region and address the climate change. Because the flooding and tornadoes and fire and all that, it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop if we don't do nothing about it. It's not going to stop. I see tornado completely wipe out the family house, and if that it happened to me, I would be mad and really, address what does it, like flooding, and we have storm, they tell us that there's some weather change coming front in the coast. Snow that deep. All that is a weather change. It's a weather change. It affects the life of our earth. Like I said outside, that we need to take responsibility and save a lot of different species of. You don't need to ask the question about caribou. It's just the whole issue is that different species of animals share this earth with us, and we have to address the issue before for them. Just like fish, you eat fish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Okay. Well, the fish needs clean water. Those little fish like this is really fragile. If something happened in contaminate in the water, it'll die. And it'll die in quantum. It'll die thousands of them one shot, like that. It happens on the lake. It happens on the coastal plain. They found about 100 whale that was dead on the sandbar.
Yeah.
And scientists want to find out what is doing it. Stuff like that's going to start happening. It's going to start happening. So I'm glad you sit here and listen, and I hope that you take responsibility and address these kind of problems that we have around the nation. The people that are going to college, that being educated, are the one that we need to address these issues to, because they have life in front of them. They got 50-some years in front of them. By the time they get to my age, 80, they would be able to stay healthy.
So sort of moving away from, or not moving away more. As you've been living up here, what's your favorite part? Because I know that I want to know, what's your favorite part about living out here? Because there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do, but like, what's your personal favorite thing to do?
Well, you know, when when I came back, my dad died, and my dad he shared leadership in this community, and he's not educated, but he can talk English, some English, and my mom, you know, she can't speak English, but the two pair that are really they're really a good worker, and they provide for the family, and they even lecture us in our house. You know, they they put us together and they lecture us. Today it's different. It's the other way around sometimes. You tell your parents what to do, that's not right. That's not right. You know? No matter if they're if they're in drugs or they're in alcohol or they're in physically they're abusing their body, that's understandable. But you know, just to say, Mom, I need this. You know, I gotta have it. Don't say that. You know, they're the one to care for you. They're the one that brought you to this life, and you need to respect them. You need to respect them. Mm-hmm. And when they're gone, their legacy stay with you. Stay with you. That's what it happened to me, because I went to after I got a service, I went and got a trade. Got a trade, and I was and I had to go to an apprenticeship program on those days. So I went there a year and a half. I had to do apprenticeship, and by the time I got done, I was able to work in a regular shop, I worked for a trucking company. Then I had a little touch of white motor shop, stuff like that. And when I came back, I was able to get a lot of experience in the equipment, a lot of different type of equipment. Yeah, I was able to understand how that thing is run. But so I operate many different heavy equipment. I work on the pipeline. I did some section in the pipeline, and there's a known company named NK. It's a big firm. They got work overseas and stuff like that. And I operate scraper and the dozer for them. But when I got done, they want to take me to different projects and I work there too. I told them, said no, you know, I got to go home. So I help the community, and also I know we have large piece of land that we need to protect. So that's what I did. That's what I did. I retired. I retired in early 20s, 2000, and somewhere around 2004, 2002. So today is what, 2019? But retirement, it seems like, it seems like it switched to what I wanted to do. And most of it is in consulting. Most of it is telling people needs to happen. But your question again is really difficult to answer because I'm a native,
Mm-hmm.
and a native in Alaska is really taken advantage by industry, and those things. I don't know how long this interview is, but you hear about Alaska Land Claim Bill. Alaska Land Claim Bill when the oil was discovered in 1969. So what happened is that what happened in 1969 is that the state of Alaska is the one that owned the land that the oil discovery was happened. It's Prudhoe Bay. I had a notebook with me and I can't. So listen closely and you take a note because oil company, we're doing something the oil company is actually doing in Alaska. And it's not only in Alaska, it's probably different third world country. So even though they make a settlement with a native in Alaska, a land claim bill, there's a provision in that bill that are not good for native in Alaska. One of the things that they did was by section is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I know down to 20 some section, and I keep saying that under section 15, they said reconveyance. Under the reconveyance, even though there's a land claim settlement happen, the state wants to keep the surface right of the village that was located on, for development, future development. And in that development, they wanted to take surface right of the cemetery. They wanted surface right of the airport, then the school land, the roads, all that they want. Even though there was a land settlement happened, they went back and the state claimed the surface right. So whatever happened down the future, each the 200 different villages in the state, in the future, the state has a little thought in there that they're going to have to take their surface right back to the state for this purpose that I just named. And that's one bad thing that and then there's another one in the financial distribution that they give 400 million so the corporation can be set up in all over Alaska native villages. The corporation can be set up and start doing operating. So 400 million they gave. That's back in early 70s.
Wow.
So they were saying that hey, we're going to pay the rest of it, 500 million in the next 13 years. In the next 13 years. So 500 million that they said that they were going to pay in the next 11 years. So that puts the last payment in 1982. 1982. So here's the catch. See, during that 11 years, they built the road and they built the pipeline. And they start pumping 1977. So since 1977, they've been having field day. They're having field day right now today. Nobody explained it that way, but that's true. Make sure that they have complete control over the oil development. And then, in building the pipeline, back in 1970s, the state is no condition to build their own pipeline. So, there again, the 7 different oil companies got together and they call themselves Alyeska. They built a pipeline. So that means that they took complete control of the oil development. There's people that are working on a pipeline that sometimes they change a unit on a pipeline it's worth 11 million. And they were telling the workers that don't worry about it. You know, we'll get the money back in a couple of days. That's what goes on today. That's what goes on today in the state. The state is out of it. You know. Right now, you listen to TV, that the state is having problem in the university. They had to shut down their dorm because they don't have enough students to go there. So it's a shame. The state has a fishery, timber, mineral, and oil, and you name it, the state got it. For the life of me, you know, they can't have an operating budget. In the last couple of days, they've been arguing over peanuts. You know, in the country of Norway, North Sea, you hear about it, the oil development North Sea, country of Norway, they have $900 billion in the permanent funds, in their permanent funds today. And that part of Europe is doing good, is doing really good, you know. But in the state of Alaska, it's very different. They're ripping it off. In the early 1990s, there was a lease sale that they brag about. The state brag about $900 million worth of lease sale that they gave to the oil company. In that lease sale, that lease is still there. You know what? They just wait till oil price to go up to go tap it. So today, they don't need anymore. They got Pet 4. They have to go to lease sale on Pet 4. And then they don't need anymore. They don't need Coastal Plain. So if they ever go to Coastal Plain, they're gonna put out 400,000 acres for lease. So if that happens, we might as well kiss it goodbye. A lot of organizations like you guys will have to, we will stop it. We will stop that lease sale. And our people, our tribe is doing the area where they told me to shut my mouth. But it won't happen. It's not going to happen. So I'm just explaining what the oil company is doing in Alaska. So in the distribution of royalty, royalty is 12.5% is an ongoing rate for any development. 12.5%. So the oil company said, okay, we'll pay you 12.5% royalty. But again, that's when it come out of the ground. So that's where Alaska got in there and, hey, we'll take it to the market for you. Then the 12.5% is reduced to just peanuts by the time it got to the market. Listen, it goes on today. It still goes on today. It still goes on today because our education is being cut year after year. University level is sad. That's what industry, I mean, oil industry doing to Alaska.
Hey, Gideon, were you involved with the American Indian movement? American Indian movement?
Well, the American Indian movement is a move that accomplished recognition. Again, you know, if the American Indian movement was existed during the land claim bill, it would have been different.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been different. But American Indian movement, they have started because too many native people were sent away from their home community, and the government says that, hey, we're going to give you education, we're going to give you trade, and they were sent out from their community. Sometimes that the whole family to go. Then American Indian movement noticed that some of the natives never returned. And they want dignity, they want recognition. They want recognition in local community around the country. And that's why the American Indian movement have done things that are, we're able to accomplish the recognition of the tribe. So if this land claim bill was done through like that get government recognition of the tribe, then it would be different.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been a lot of different.
Yeah.
But this thing was not in place at that time, early 1970s.
Right.
I asked a question. I asked the same question in the different to lawyers and stuff like that, and I got compliment that I asked them that if American Indian movement was in place at the 1980, it would have been different, Sure, it would have been different.
And Sarah is your sister?
Yeah. So American Indian movement wants to have recognition of their own tribe all over the nation, and they want to stop that relocation program, quit sending. And if somebody was going to send out, they want the tribe to do it. They want a tribal organization to do it. And so in 1973 or 74, there was a bunch of different tribes marched to Washington from different areas. They marched to Washington. And they took over the BIA building. They took it over. And what they did is they burned all the records. All the records are related to relocation. They burn it. They just got in the building and put it to the fire.
It's the Bureau of Indian Affairs, the BIA.
Yeah. So that's what they did in the movement. And a lot of people that were involved didn't go to jail. They didn't get jail time because that was the human rights. They didn't get jail time, but they got quarantined. They put them different places in the country, you know. They put them in different places in the country. Said, "Don't leave here. Don't leave here." You know?
House arrest.
Huh?
House arrest. Yeah.
But they started something else after that. They went overseas. They went different third world country and got treaty council. They got the treaty council to address environmental issue. So I know all those people.
I saw you have Russell Means up on the wall.
Yeah.
Russell Means over there.
Yeah, Russell Mean. I never met that guy, but I think Sarah did.
Cool.
Yeah. See, Russell Mean is he's a Sioux Indian, and he never compromised. So was that Leonard Pertel. He's in jail. They blame these people for killing couple FBI person on their own reservation ground. So, a lot of things that happen, you know. That's why, you know. That's why I have some sign about Indian people. I know Russell Mean. I know his brother. Russell Mean. I know his brother, and then I know a couple of lawyers that worked like Bill Court, William Bill Court, and his brother, and I know them in a way. Yeah. That's what a lot of native people in Alaska does not want to believe that. That's where the 638 program came along. The tribal recognition that came along. That's what, like right now, you know, there was a government funds that would build the airport. As a tribe, we can contract it. That's what we did. We built our airport. We built our. You getting sleepy?
Huh? No, I'm awake.
Anyway, that's what the beauty about the 630 program is that the AIM people push them into it to get the recognition.
Yeah.
The AIM people are the one that pushed the Congress into passing a self-government. They didn't do that on their own. They didn't do that on their own will. The AIM people was the one that pushed them into it. Like burning a record is something serious, you know. Yeah. So that's what it is.
Alright guys, how about you come up with one more question?
All right. I have a sort of ending question. If you also have one.
I have one.
So my question was, since. Oh yeah. You can.
Okay, so what's one thing that you want, like the lower 48 or just the world in general, to know about what's going on up here in like the Arctic or the Arctic village?
Well, one thing that we have to get organized with environmental group. There's many different ones in the nation. There's many of them. There's all kinds of different environmental group. Those are the people that will probably bring the issue up to the Congress. Even right now, there's one woman. She's a Mexican, and I forget her name, but her start chorus or something.
You're talking about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez?
Mm-hmm. She's a young girl. She's a young girl.
She's Dominican.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, she's not scared. She's not scared. She's not scared to say something. She got elected representative, and we need more people like that. So what was that question again?
What's one thing that you would want,
Yeah.
either the lower 48 or just the world in general, to know about the Arctic village or just the Arctic? Like what's going on, lifestyle, just anything.
Yeah.
What's one thing
See,
that you'd want them to know?
One thing that we wanted to really address is that environmental issue. We wanted to stop. We wanted to slow down the industry. They don't need to make cars every year. They don't need it.
Mm-hmm. I bike.
They don't need to make cars every year. You know what?
I read the book.
Nation of Cuba, they still run 1960 model cars. You know that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you don't need to make cars every year. They don't need to do that. But they can do something else,
Mm-hmm.
They can do something else except building a car. They can, they can make sure that, maybe there's car allotment all over the nation, and you have 16-lane highways stretching all kinds of different ways, and those cars run 24 hours a day in those roads. I've been to Sweden. I've been to what country is that? I seen a place where they run motorcycle.
Italy?
Huh?
Italy? Italy?
Italy. Well,
That's
Italy too. Yeah, Italy, France, Scotland. No, Scotland, but Swedish. Sweden, yeah. In Sweden, they don't have. All they have is a narrow street. Just enough to 2 cars to go through.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been to United Nation. United Nation. I went over there for the human rights issue. Same thing about recognition in Alaska. And they have every piece of land over there is used for something. They don't tear up the whole country side over there. Even way up high, you see a vineyard. They have grapes. They have apple. They have orchard. That's where all the wine you drink you come from there. So I've been to that country, and they have purpose for every piece of land. That's what we should have. Is even if we're terrible, we should leave that land alone. For fish, we should leave that water alone.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Gideon, I want to do a couple photography shoots over right quick. Soon as these two leave, and can this light get turned off?
Go ahead.